day in the life of a geo fieldy. Welcome to Conversations About Mining. I've got Jess here from Beyond Recruitment and Resumes, and you've got a question for me, Jess.
I do. Hey, Andrew, how you going?
Good, thank you.
So I've got a question from Paul. He sent in a question saying, can you and Andrew please talk about what does a day in the life of a field geo or a geo fieldy, what does that look like?
Okay, so a fieldy working with the geos, you're assisting the geologist. So if, my experience with the fieldies have been in an underground nature. So normally the production geologist goes underground to take samples and wash down faces and take photos of where the ore is and the backs and the face and all that sort of stuff. So you spend your day running around with the geologist, and obviously you're the pack horse. You're running out hoses and you're lifting them up and you're washing down faces and you're collecting samples for them and just doing whatever's instructed of them. And it's a really good job. We've had a couple of people get those jobs after they've done the training. Recently we had a guy in Cairns pick up a job. It was an even time roster, 95,000 a year plus bonuses. He sort of called me back because he wanted an underground job, like a production job, a truck job, or a nipper's job. And he said, but I've been offered this. And I sort of said to him, well, if it's in and out of Cairns and you're happy living in Cairns and it's 95 grand a year and it's all fairly casual. And he did a big 2-hour interview where he got wandered around, and because he knew all the stuff about tag boards and everything he needed to know, they virtually offered him the job on the spot. And it's a good job. The only issue is that it doesn't lead anywhere. There's not a lot of advancement in it unless you jump back onto the main crew. But I've seen a lot of people comfortable in those jobs for a lot of years and pay off houses and have great lives and all that sort of stuff, because you're in with management, basically with the geologists or with the owners. And there's not a lot of pressure. There's not a lot of pressure compared to what the production guys are going through with getting the stuff done. But yeah, you're answering to the geologist. So the only difference would be with the underground is that there's no flies. On the surface, there'd be a lot of flies to deal with, but it'd be exactly the same. You're just following the production geologist around, collecting all the samples, going back to the core sample yard, making sure all the core samples put in the right order, and documenting all that and helping them look through all that sort of stuff. General assistant. But like I said, most people get paid around that 95 to 110,000 on an even time roster doing the job. So it's not too bad a gig if you can get it.
Yeah, awesome. And what are the minimum requirements for that? Do you actually need any formal geology training or anything, or it's,
No,
it's pretty basic?
Heartbeat, pulse. And I always like to tell people, mining knowledge is really helpful, but yeah, they're just looking for somebody that wants to have a go and is going to commit to them. And what they're not looking for, and this is what I had to talk to about with this guy, is the guy that offered him the job was really paranoid about him only doing 6 months and then moving on to a production job. So when you get into something like that, you want to try and reassure the people that are hiring you that you're in it for the long haul, and you understand that you're going to get paid a little bit more each year, but there's going to be a top out of it. But this is the job that you want, and this is going to fit your lifestyle. So yeah, it is. Like I said to the guy that I was talking about, you're in and out of Cairns. It's $95,000 a year entry level. It's week on, week off. I mean, what's there not to like?
No, that's great. That sounds like a great job. But as far as production mining goes, it sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And
it is.
Would they have fairly strict? Would they have fairly strict anti-poaching rules and those types of roles? I know that I know a lot of mines do have them.
They can, but where like if you're going from one mining company to another, then yes, it can be. If you're going to go from whoever, like the owner operator, the geos, to a contractor, then that might be a problem. But a lot of the geos actually work for the owner operators. So if you are going to go to the main crew, then sometimes it's just an internal transfer, which can happen. But a lot of people get comfortable in those roles, and everybody gets a pay rise every year. And I know people that make quite substantial money doing those jobs now because they've been in it for a long period of time. And it just is what it is. It swings and roundabouts, like I try and tell people. If they're paying you $130,000 a year to be a fieldy because you've been a fieldy for the last 5 years, then going back to driving a truck for 95 doesn't really make a lot of sense, especially if you've almost got the house paid off and everything's going good. Yeah, it just it's horses for courses. But yeah, I think the fieldy job's a great place to start, and it's a good way in. But it's like anything else, with mining, you need to know the rules and understand what you're getting yourself into. That's why the guy I was talking about got the opportunity, because he was able to talk about tag boards and firing times and everything else that they needed him to know to be able to get round and do the fieldy work on the surface and in the underground as well.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Andrew. Thank you, Paul, for the question, and we hope that answers everything for you. If you have any other questions, if anyone has any questions you want us to answer or have a chat about on here, you're welcome to reach out to us on social media or via the website, via the YouTube channel. Thank you. Thanks for answering that. That was awesome.
No worries. And if you could share the information around and like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.